You know, what's really easy in life to do is to give a lecture to someone about their health and how they're letting it slip away. When we all know it's really easy as you get older to have regrets, to have that feeling and that sense of life is a little unfair, things haven't gone your way. Instead of embracing the fact that you're getting older, you feel let down by it. You feel the aches and the pain and the sense that life is slipping away. And for some reason, we get angry about it. We get frustrated by it. We get agitated by it. So instead of stepping towards embracing it and making the most of getting older, we are left with a sense of regret and a sense of underlying frustration at what's happening to us. We hate the fact that we feel overweight. We hate the fact that, if we go for a bit of a run, that we get wheezy and exhausted very quickly. And so then we stop doing it completely. And it's really easy then to lecture even yourself. You berate yourself for the fact that you've let yourself get to this place. And so instead of taking action, you get angry. You want to blame something. It's easier to blame someone else and blame other things rather than going, I acknowledge I'm getting older. I acknowledge I'm not going to be as fast. I acknowledge the fact that getting fitter again is going to be a bit of a slog. But at the end of the day, it's better to be in that slog and be in that sense of determination that I'd rather struggle a little bit and try and get the most out of living life longer, because if I'm in my 30s and 40s and 50s, hopefully I've still got another 30 years. And do I want to give up on it now? And strangely, we can sometimes waste 5, 10, 15 years getting angry about it rather than going, no use comparing myself to my younger self. No use comparing myself to someone who stayed fit the whole time. There's no use comparing myself to somebody who lives next door and can run 20 Ks every other day. That's not me at the moment. So can I just do what I can do now? Sure, it may sound ugly. Sure, I might get sweaty. Sure, it may be not Instagram worthy, but am I going to feel better for it? At the end of the day, if you're the one that feels better for it, then that's the only comparison you're making. Having it take longer, having to be more structured, having to be better about your eating habits. And as a male, that's an ugly truth, because, often as a male, we can get away with things in our 20s and 30s that once we hit our 40s and 50s, you cannot get away with being bad with your body in terms of the food that you put in it, because that food seems to convert to fat in 10 seconds and it takes a week of exercise or a month of exercise to get through it. So yeah, you're going to struggle with things. Yeah, it's going to seem like a grind, but wouldn't you rather be in the grind of life and getting healthier and better than that angry frustration of blaming someone else for the fact that you're getting older? I mean, shouldn't you be embracing that? And sometimes we forget to embrace the fact that we're getting older and to be grateful for the fact that we get older, rather than the fact that we compare ourselves to our younger self and feel absolutely frustrated by it. So check yourself. When you feel angry about life or angry about the failings that have happened and the things that haven't gone quite your way, that doesn't mean you need to make yourself miserable for the next 5 years. It's a funny thing of taking accountability for, this isn't maybe where I ended up, but this can still be a wonderful, beautiful place. And I can still find out things about myself that I wouldn't have considered when I was in my 20s. So getting back into fitness, getting back into looking after yourself in a better way means being accountable to your own actions and your own mindset. Sure, some of that mindset can be quite a difficult place to be in and can seem filled with ugly truths and ugly realities, but it can also be about setting new challenges. It can be about setting new exciting things to look forward to, of things that you mightn't have considered were even possible, or weren't even valued to you when you were younger. Like for me, I'm setting myself up to do a triathlon. I would never have thought in my 30s that would be a thing I'd look forward to trying to do, to challenge myself to do. And to be honest, where my health was in my 30s, I couldn't have thought of doing anything like that. Even though I was fit in my own way, my body couldn't have stood up to the rigors of even just doing a really simple program that would have allowed me to do that. So sometimes we have to rewire ourselves to go what we thought wasn't possible. So long as I start it small enough, and so long as I start with expectations that are going to be at a level I'm starting with. Now, I often repeat that, but it's always worth noting that be at the level that you're at. Compare yourself to that level, not anyone else's level. Until we accept that and embrace that and actually learn to be enthused by the fact I'm starting here, this is where I'm at right now, and this is where I've got to. Because that's the only comparison that's worth it. Once you do that, everything becomes much easier. Once you get used to the fact I'm getting older, and that wheezing breath that sometimes can annoy you, and that plodding footfall that just frustrates you, and there's no spring to a step. But you might find in 3 months, it's a little less than that. It's a little lighter than that. It certainly doesn't feel as pounding and as heavy as that. Because just because that's where you start, doesn't mean you end. I'm not saying you're suddenly going to turn into a 20-year-old version, but it'd be better than where you were. And that's what it's all about. Because inevitably you're going to have a setback in health, and it's better to come from a healthier side of that and have that setback than when you're in poor health already and then you've had a setback. You know, the prerequisites for having a hip fall, a hip break, you know, escalate. And as males, we are sometimes terrible at acknowledging that my health has deteriorated, and I'm the one responsible to change that. I don't have to berate myself. I do that enough anyway. But I would be better off taking an action to do something about it rather than either hiding my head in the sand or finding a scapegoat. Find some way of changing it. The choices you make show the results you want to have. And if the choices you're making make you end up on the couch and feeling angry and frustrated by the world, make sure you change the things you can change. So what if work hasn't been the shining light that you thought it might have been? So what if your bank account isn't overflowing with money? If I want to chip away at those things, if I want to chip away at my health, then I've got to take actions towards that. Life is always going to be frustrating in terms of sometimes where I think I'm going to end up as to what's going to happen. But it doesn't have to be my end story. change and acknowledgement and acceptance. But acceptance doesn't have to be, well, this is all I've got. I'm accepting where I'm at. This is not where I want to be at. So what am I going to do about it? Find a little challenge. So if your mind works with little challenges, find something that's going to challenge you. Find something that's going to help make you work towards goal. If it's just getting out there and I want to feel more mobile, find like-minded people that want to do the same thing. Let them carry you along with them. Let their good days and bad days, help your good and bad days. Be reflective of where you want to go, not where you are now, if that's where you're stuck. Let me know in the comments what you felt angry about. We've all had those times where you feel angry and you want to blame, but often at the end of the day, what have I taken on as my responsibility? And it's okay to fall down that rabbit hole, but the biggest thing is acknowledge that rabbit hole, change it, and think of the choices that you want to make and let them be a reflection of where you want to go. Not every day is going to be brilliant, but it can be better than others. Don't get angry about the fact that you're getting older, angry about the fact that, or frustrated by the fact that I'm slower. Remember, getting older is a privilege, and make the most of that privilege. If we waste years going on the fact that we have changed, our bodies have changed, our fat conversion rates have very much changed, then all we can do is stay in the same place getting worse. We'll be angry and angry about that. You don't want that for yourself. I hopefully don't want that for you. Get out there and change it. Leave me a comment what held you stuck. Leave me a comment also what got you unstuck. What led to your change? What inspired you? What was the little step or the big thing or the light that suddenly went, this isn't where I want to be. I want to be different to this. Like and subscribe. Share to someone that you find is struggling a little bit, because it's not about lecturing them. They know they're struggling. It's about acknowledging that they have struggled, but the only way forward is by accepting that they need to change, and they need to change from where they are now in a non-comparison way going forward. So the next time you go for your run or for your bike ride or for a canoe or for a hike, anything that gets you active, if you want to go golfing and you're feeling wheezy and tired, it's better to feel that than the alternative. Aging can sometimes feel frustrating, but it's still the greatest privilege that we have. Don't wreck it by feeling the remorse of younger self, the loss of younger self. Get out there, give it your best shot, and you'll never know in a year, 2 years' time, what you might still be capable of. You might find that you're actually much more capable than you realize. Much more exciting than you realize. Give yourself an opportunity again. Take it on. Good luck. Take care. See you in the next video.